Hi, and welcome to Skincare by Sydney. I'm Sydney. I'm a dermatology PA and your guide to skincare. Today we are talking about pregnancy and breastfeeding skincare. So there are two main tweaks that you need to make to your skincare routine if you're planning to become pregnant, are pregnant, or breastfeeding. You have to avoid any retinoid product, including retinols and hydroquinone. So all of the other ingredients you find in skincare, active ingredients, are technically safe in certain percentages. There are not studies on pregnant women because that would be unethical. So the information we have is just what is considered safe. And these are going to be on like your low end of a normal range. So for example, salicylic acid, if you go to the drugstore, pretty much everything has 2% or less in it. That is considered safe in pregnancy. What I try to do is actually stay under 2%. And I recommend that everyone talks to their OB so that they approve of everything. Your OB is in charge of your care. But like I said, we do have general guidelines of what is considered safe. So glycolic acid, benzoyl peroxide, lactic acid are some others that can be used in the correct dose per se. So I've been pregnant and I know that you're not given this list of all these things that you can't use on your skin, for example. So like most things in life, it's all about moderation. We worry about skincare if you're using it every single day. We want to make sure that you're using products that are safe. So as far as treatments you can get while you're pregnant, that's also guided by your esthetician. Most treatments that you get by an esthetician are actually higher, stronger, more concentrated doses of products or ingredients that we use daily. So pretty much everything's off limits. You can do dermaplaning, and I highly recommend dermaplaning at least once a month, or try to go once a month. That's the most often you can do it if you're going to an esthetician. As far as like microneedling, lasers, that's all off limits. So let's talk a little bit about pregnancy skincare and some tweaks. So you can't use a retinoid, which is something that is in the typical daily routine. Then what can you use? So it's going to be azelaic acid and bakuchiol to get some of those same types of effect from a retinoid. Some people, some women in pregnancy, because of this change in hormones, can actually have the most beautiful skin ever, and then others are going to have breakouts, possibly that they're not used to having. And so I have two products here I want to show you. Epionce has a line of lytic treatments. There are 4 strengths, and they have one called the light lytic treatment that has less than 2% salicylic acid. And then it also has azelaic acid. You can get azelaic acid in prescription form, and also there are products that just have azelaic acid. Paula's Choice is one that I mention a lot. And then there's also bakuchiol. So this is an ingredient that's kind of popped up in several products over the past years. I really like Beauty Counter's Counter Time line. It has bakuchiol in it. In several of their products, serums are always going to be the highest concentration. And so that's why I recommend the Counter Time Tripeptide Radiance Serum. And you actually can use bakuchiol and azelaic acid twice per day, whereas you're usually just using your retinoid at night. That is that. The other thing is that you can use vitamin C or ascorbic acid, and that's extremely important. One of the things that we can see in pregnancy is melasma. It can also be called cloasma, which is like the mask of pregnancy. So you start to see this patchy hyperpigmentation on the skin. Some people experience it from any change in hormones, so that can be birth control, or it can even be around the menopausal time in our life. So the 2 most important ingredients for melasma are hydroquinone and treamens, or a retinoid product. So since you can't use those, we can use what are considered the supportive ingredients in melasma treatment, and that's going to be vitamin C, glycolic acid, lactic acid, kojic acid, tranexamic acid. It can get very detailed, and if you're having any hyperpigmentation or melasma in general, I recommend that you talk to a medical provider because it can be complicated and it's really hard to piece things together on your own, but especially during pregnancy because you have that added layer of making sure that it is safe. So a lot of the things that are advertised for hyperpigmentation might not be safe for you. So I think our probably third main thing we need to know about pregnancy is how to try to avoid stretch marks. And what happens with stretch marks is that our skin stretches or grows rapidly. So we can also see these like rapid muscle growth. And then there are some other medical conditions that are actually more steroid induced. But the best thing to do is just to grease yourself down as much as possible. So I wanted to show you here, just coconut oil that you get from the drugstore is really great. I like to use a popsicle stick or tongue depressor and like stir it up. Keep this in your bathroom, so also that you're not eating any of it if you cook with it, but it will keep it warm. Like the heat from the shower will keep it warm, and so it exists kind of in like a semi-solid state, and so you can easily stir it up. It can be greasy, but you apply this like within 3 minutes of getting out of the shower, and if you use a tongue depressor, you just rub it on your skin. Your body temperature, body heat will make it melt a little bit more too. So if you want something a little bit more fancy, if you want to treat yourself, just in general, Epionce moisturizers are wonderful. This is their thickest one. It's the enriched body cream. And so this is a great gift for someone that's pregnant because you're going to need a lot of this over the 9-month period. Something else that comes up and that is safe is you can use peptides and growth factors. So I just like to touch on that because a lot of people are interested in anti-aging, and that's where the retinoid comes in, and that's also where Botox comes in. So if you can't get Botox while you're pregnant or breastfeeding, but there are some products that have a GABA neurotransmitter in it that's topical, and so it can mimic what Botox does to the nerve that goes to the muscle. So Revision Rebox is probably the most common form of that, and that's something that you can add on if you would like. I threw some products together in a starter pack because my goal in all of this is to make this information more accessible and easy. So I created something called the Mama Starter Pack, and I know the road to becoming a mom can be a long one. It can be very emotional. It's hard if you can get pregnant, it's hard if you can stay pregnant. And so when you add those variables, it's just important to have a lot of self-care. And then once you are a mom, there's a whole nother set of difficulties that comes with that. So I call this the Mama Starter Pack because it's everything that's safe in pregnancy. So like if you have a skincare routine and then you become pregnant or plan to get pregnant and you're just like, what can I use? I just put these products together to make it easy for you, particularly if you are experiencing breakouts or if you have a history of hyperpigmentation. But I also intend this to be like a self-care kit so that it can be something to gift yourself or to gift someone else. So I'll go through it really quickly. It has these toner pads in it because if you want to feel good, you want your skin to be radiant, it's all about exfoliation and hydration or moisturization. And so a toning pad is just wonderful. You can use it on your face, neck, chest, the back of your arms. Another little extra self-care is a mask for breakouts. So this is the SkinCeuticals Clarifying Clay Mask. It also has glycolic acid in it and some other brightening agents. So it's just good. It's really just good for everyone, even teenagers. It's $59 regularly. Not too much for someone who's going to be responsible with it. So I also, of course, added sunscreen because that is the most important thing to prevention of melasma and actually making sure it doesn't get worse. So this is LTMD UV Restore, and it has THC ascorbate, which is a vitamin C derivative in it. I didn't include a vitamin C because that is very custom to a person's skin unless you're using a product that does have a derivative like the Epionce Intense Defense Serum, and you can actually add this to the pack. And then it includes the Epionce Light Lytic Treatment and just a really fun product. This is MD Solar Science's lip balm. It's extremely hydrating. It is tinted, a light pink color, and it has SPF 30. So this is just something that is a good treat, I think, for every woman. And actually, I have one more product here to show you. Bio oil is something that came heavily recommended to me from the dermatology clinic I worked in when I was pregnant. And it is a wonderful product. It's straight oil, so you can use this to prevent stretch marks. One of my favorite things to do is actually mix an oil with a creamier lotion, and then you can rub it on areas to prevent. So I think that that is the scoop. And I do think that the best form of self-care is skincare. So I hope that the Mama Starter Pack answers questions, makes it a little bit easier, and that this overview has been helpful. But remember, always talk to your OB because they are in charge. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you'll subscribe below, and please let me know if you have any questions.